Okay, thank you to everyone for joining. My name is Amal, and I'm an associate planner at the Western Connecticut Council of Governments. Today, I'm going to be providing an overview of the draft 2027 to 2030 Transportation Improvement Program, or the TIP. Some background information about who we are. There are 9 regional council of governments in the state of Connecticut mandated by the state legislature to provide the geographic framework where the member municipalities can jointly address common interests and coordinate with state plans and programs. As of 2020, the regional COGs are now recognized as having a county designation at the federal level. We serve the Western Connecticut Council of Governments, which is governed by a council of 18 first selectmen and mayors. WestCog hosts 2 metropolitan transportation planning organizations to conduct federally required transportation planning activities. This includes the Housatonic Valley MPO in green on the map and the Southwestern Region MPO, which is in blue. The municipalities in the Housatonic Valley covers Bethel, Bridgewater, Brookfield, Danbury, New Fairfield, New Milford, Newtown, Reading, Ridgefield, and Sherman. And the municipalities in the Southwestern region include Greenwich, Stamford, Norwalk, New Canaan, Darien, Weston, Westport, and Wilton. WestCog is a voluntary association of towns and cities located in Western Connecticut. It provides a regional forum where municipal chief elected officials can come together to discuss issues of shared importance, coordinate planning efforts, and collaborate on initiatives that benefit their communities. WestCog also helps member municipalities address challenges that often extend beyond local boundaries, such as transportation, housing, economic development, environmental planning, and emergency preparedness. By working together at the regional level, communities can share resources, align priorities, and pursue solutions more effectively. WestCog staff also serve as professional staff to both the Housatonic Valley MPO and the Southwestern Region MPO. In this role, staff support transportation planning activities, coordinate meetings, manage public outreach, and assist in development and administration of the 27 to 30 Transportation Improvement Program. So what is an MPO? WestCog currently has 2 Metropolitan Planning Organizations, or MPOs. As previously mentioned, these represent the 2 former regions that make up WestCog, which is the Southwestern Region MPO and the Housatonic Valley MPO. MPOs are the federally mandated organization designated by the governor as the forum for cooperative transportation decision-making. The Housatonic Valley MPO, or HVMPO, is made up of chief elected officials from member municipalities along with one transit representative. And the Southwestern Region MPO, or SWRMPO, is similarly composed of chief elected officials from its member communities along with 2 transit representatives to reflect the region's transit needs and services. MPOs play an important role in regional transportation decision-making. Under federal regulations, MPOs are responsible for carrying out key transportation planning functions, including setting priorities for transportation investments and ensuring projects align with regional needs. One of their primary responsibilities is developing and administering the TIP in cooperation with the Connecticut Department of Transportation. Following that process, projects underwent air quality modeling by Connecticut Department of Transportation, which I will go over shortly. So you might be wondering, what is the TIP? The Transportation Improvement Program is a financially constrained document that lists all federally funded transportation projects planned for the region. Financially constrained means that the projects included in the TIP are matched with funding sources, ensuring that the program is realistic and implementable. Once finalized, projects included in the 27 to 30 TIP are expected to receive federal transportation funding over the 4-year program period. These projects may include roadway improvements, bridge repairs, transit investments, bicycle and pedestrian enhancements, safety upgrades, and other transportation priorities. Projects included in the development of the TIP follow the 3C planning process, which stands for comprehensive, cooperative, and continuing. These projects are developed collaboratively among MPOs, CONDOT, municipalities, transit agencies, and other stakeholders. In addition, TIP projects must be consistent with the region's Metropolitan Transportation Plan, which serves as the long-range vision for future transportation investments and improvements. The development process for the 27 to 30 TIP began last spring when the draft project list was shared with our Technical Advisory Committee for initial review and feedback. The Technical Advisory Committee, or the TAG, consists of town planners, engineers, public works officials, transit district representatives, and council of government staff. The TAG reviews and evaluates proposals and make recommendations, which are then submitted to the appropriate policy board. Following that process, projects underwent air quality modeling by CONDOT. The 27 to 30 tip has a new platform used to manage projects called Project Tracker. This screenshot here is pulled from the Project Tracker public website and is an example of what a user sees when they select a project from the tip listing. Users can explore funding sources, financial history, project locations on a map, and other key details. Now for the tip project listings. The project proposed in the tip are designed to provide significant benefits across all communities by improving safety, efficiency, and the overall condition of our transportation system. I won't go through every project today, but I can highlight a few examples. One example is city sidewalk improvements in Danbury. This project aims to install concrete sidewalks, pedestrian ramps, crosswalks, and pedestrian crossing warning devices at various locations in Danbury, primarily near schools and elderly housing facilities. Another example is mid-block crossing improvements in Danbury. This project is to improve safety by installing solar rapid rectangular flashing beacon units with illumination at existing mid-block crosswalks, new sidewalk ramps, sidewalks, crosswalks, and signs. For the Southwestern Region MPO, one example is lighting and roadside safety upgrades in Greenwich and Stamford. This project is to address safety concerns by upgrading illumination and roadside safety appurtenances throughout the project limits due to age and inadequate or substandard condition. The existing roadway illumination system installed in the late 1970s will be replaced. And to review the full project listing in detail, you can visit the Westcog website, and I can provide more detail at the end of this presentation. Next, we have draft tip financials. This slide shows a breakdown of federal, state, and local funding. While projects are specific to municipalities and MPOs, they also reflect broader regional and statewide priorities. Over the next 4 years, the HVMPO tip is expected to acquire approximately $1.27 billion. About 90% of the funding will support highway projects through the Federal Highway Administration, or FHWA, and roughly 10% will support transit projects through Federal Transit Administration, or FTA. Non-federal matching funds will come from the state of Connecticut and local municipalities. The draft tip report offers more details on highway and transit funding sources. This is just a snapshot of the funding broken out from FHWA and FTA over the fiscal year 27 to 30, including fiscal year illustrative. For Southwestern Region MPO, the TIP is expected to acquire approximately $1.73 billion. About 80% of that funding will go towards highway projects and 20% towards transit projects. And once again, non-federal matching funds will come from the state of Connecticut and local municipalities. Now for performance measures help guide investment decisions and track progress towards key transportation goals. Federal law requires a performance-based, outcome-driven approach to planning. The staff reviews the projects in the TIP, their scope of work, and identify which performance measures those projects support. Up to 3 are identified for each project and are reflected in the numbers here. The measures support the 3C planning process and include areas such as air quality, freight movement, highway safety and asset management, system reliability, transit safety, and asset management. Once again, more information can be found in the TIP report for each of these performance measure areas, including review of baseline targets, if current targets have been met, and progress on achieving or not achieving those targets. Now for air quality. The Clean Air Act of 1970, later amended in 1990, requires the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA, to establish national air quality standards, known as NAAQS. These standards are intended to improve air quality and reduce transportation-related emissions. To meet these standards, states develop state implementation plans, or SIP, which set allowable emission limits, often referred to as emission budgets. The Housatonic Valley MPO is currently designated as an attainment and attainment maintenance area for PM 2.5, which stands for fine particulate matter. For ozone, the region is part of the New York, Northern New Jersey, Connecticut moderate ozone area, as well as the Greater Connecticut moderate ozone non-attainment area. Because of these designations, projects included in the TIP must demonstrate conformity with federal air quality standards. This means projected emissions from TIP projects must remain at or below the limits established in the SIP. Based on CONDOT's analysis, expected emissions under the proposed action scenarios remain within the approved emission budgets for each pollutant, including fine particulate matter, volatile organic compounds, and nitrogen oxide. In Connecticut, CONDOT is responsible for conducting transportation and air quality modeling and issuing conformity determinations. CONDOT has determined that the 27 to 30 TIP complies with all applicable air quality requirements. The map on the left shows Connecticut's ozone non-attainment areas, while the map on the right displays the PM 2.5 attainment and maintenance areas. The dark green areas represent the Greater Connecticut Ozone Area, which include the Housatonic Valley MPO. The light green areas indicate the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut Ozone Non-Attainment Region, which includes both MPOs. For the full report, please visit the air quality conformity page on the ConDOT website, which is also listed on the WestCog site. The public comment period for the tip was announced in accordance with HVMPO's public involvement plan and legally noticed in the Danbury News Times and La Tribuna. But for Southwestern Region MPO, legal notices are submitted through the Norwalk Hour, Stamford Advocate, and Lavaze. Additional announcements were issued through media releases, social media, the WestCall website, and the newsletter. We held our public meetings on April 21st in Danbury for HVMPO, April 22nd in Stamford for Southwestern Region MPO, and April 23rd virtually for both MPOs. Public comment period will remain open until May 1st. Once comments are received, they are reviewed and incorporated into the final report. We will then share a summary of the public engagement comments with the TAG and MPO members. Then next month's TAG meeting, we will seek a recommendation for endorsement of the TIP. Final adoption is scheduled for May 21st at our MPO meeting. We are taking a summary of all the comments shared, as previously mentioned, and more detailed comments in writing can be submitted to plan@westcog.org. All tip-related materials are available on the WestCog website, including draft reports, project listings, a link to project tracker, legal notices, ConDOT's air quality report, and the draft STIP narrative, also including a guide to reading the tip. In addition, physical copies of the report can be requested at our office. And thank you for listening.